tutorial for Nocode HQ, and today we'll be building a simple Meetup clone or mobile app using Glide and a Google Sheet. So basically this will be a mobile app similar to Meetup where you can browse through different Meetup groups as well as the different meetups that are happening within your area. See where they are, see some information about them, and also take part in them. And we're going to do all of that using Glide in a Google Sheet and without writing any single line of code. So what you will need is just a Google account to create a Google Sheet and to make an account with Glide. And after you signed up and logged into both of these services, the first thing you want to do is create a new Google Sheet. And I called mine Meetup mobile app. You can call it whatever you like. And what we're going to do now in this Google Sheet, we're going to set up the data structure basically of our mobile app. So I'm going to start off by calling the first sheet or just renaming it to a meetup. So this represents a meetup that is taking place. And we want to have a name for the meetup. We want to have a location, of course. So these are now the data types basically for our meetup. So what should be displayed for each meetup. We want to have description maybe. Let's have an image as well. We want to have a host, more to that later. And we also want to have a group, okay? Great, so let's add another sheet. I'm going to call this sheet a group, and this represents an individual group. So there's, for example, outdoor, I don't know, cycling group. There's a JavaScript coding group, like in the real Meetup app. So we're going to have the same. So this is just going to be okay. The group is going to have a name. It's going to have an image, okay? And again, we want to have a host, okay? Let me add another sheet, and this sheet is going to be, let's call it attending, okay? And we're going to have the name of the person attending a meetup, of course, which meetup he or she is attending. We want to have the user email of that user that's attending a meetup, because that's going to be the way we're going to authenticate a user. And yeah, that's basically it. Maybe a text, if he wants to add a text for that. And yeah, that's basically it regarding data structures. I'm going to go ahead now and add some data. So let me just add a meetup here, for example. So cycling every Tuesday. Okay, so that's one meetup we're creating. It takes place in Berlin. We're going to leave the image blank for the host. I'm just going to say it's, let's actually change that. We have to use the email. So I'm just going to enter an email. Okay. For the group, we're going to call sports. Okay. And we're going to create a group here as well called sports. The host of the group is again going to be the same email, which is our email. So I'm going to enter that. We're going to work with emails here because that's the way Glide uses Glide uses emails to authenticate users. So let's go back to Meetup. We can add a nice description. We meet every Tuesday and cycle for 2 hours, suitable for beginners and advanced cyclists. Okay. Let's add another group. Actually, let's add a party group for parties, and let's also add, let me check, a nature group. Okay, so we have a nature group as well. Okay, and we're the host for all of these. Okay, and under Meetup, I'm just gonna actually change that here. Oh, what happened here? Let's just drag that down quickly. And we want to have, let's say, we have a nature group, a nature meetup here, and this is going to be, I don't know, bird watching in Hamburg. And description, let's watch birds together. Everyone is welcome. Like this, and we're just going to add another sports event here, which is jogging. And this is, let's say, this is in Munich, Germany. And description is going to be jogging every Friday at 2 p.m. around the lake. Okay, great. So that's basically it regarding our data structure. We're going to make some small modifications within the Glide editor. So what you will need to do, you will need to log into Glide now and create a new app and use this sheet here that you just created, in my case, the Meetup mobile app, as the Google Sheet you want to use. And I did it already. And once you did that, you want to go to Glide. And I'm just going to click yes. And you'll be brought into the Glide app editor and it would look like something like this. And we can go ahead and start basically editing our application. But the first thing I want to do, I want to go to the data tab and I want to create a few relations. So each meetup should belong to a group. So let's just add a column here. And this column should be called belongs to group, okay? And it should be a relation where the name of the group, okay, matches the group's name and should not match multiple because only one group should be assigned to Meetup, okay? And we also want to have attending people for this Meetup. So let's add another column, attending. And this should be a relation where the name of this Meetup matches the attending's Meetup. And we want to match multiple. So what does that mean? In this column, we will display all the people or all the users basically that attend this Meetup. So let's click done, okay? Let's go ahead to group. And again, under group, I'm going to add a relation, a new column. It's going to be called contains meetups. So a group can contain several meetups. Just click yes again. Contains meetups, okay? And again, this is where the name of the group matches the meetup's group name. And in this case, it can match multiple because multiple meetups can be within one group. And at last, attending, we want to have a relation for meetup is where the meetup's name matches the meetup's. Oops, let's do that again. For meetup, again, where the meetup name matches the meetup's name. And let's click done. Okay, and that should be it regarding our data structure. So we can go ahead now and start modifying our app. So let me go to layout now. And Glide is quite powerful in the way you can modify your app. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to tabs. And as you can see, we have basically three options here. We have the sheet 1, group, and attending. So let's go to sheet 1, and you can see the source for that is Meetup. But let me actually change that label to just home. Okay, I want to be that to be the home screen. Let's change the icon to a home. Okay, let's drag the groups tab underneath our home tab, and let's call that groups. Okay, let's maybe change that to a list. The source is the group sheet. Let's add another tab, and we're going to call that tab meetups. And this should be maybe a map because we want to sort by map. The source is Meetup again. And the last should be called, let's call it my profile or just profile. And that should be a profile or user or something like this. Okay, great. So let's start off with the home tab. So you can go out to layout and start modifying. And for the home tab, I actually want to keep it at a detailed view. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a new sheet just for the home tab. So that's something I forgot. So let me just go back to my sheet. And I'm just going to really quickly add a new sheet. I'm going to call it home. And let's have a text here, which is called title. I'm just going to say welcome to the Meetup app. And let's say we also want to have an image. So let me just enter the image. And under image, I'm just going to add an image here that I took from Unsplash, copyright-free image. Let's go back to Glide now. Let's just reload the sheet. Okay, and let's actually go to tabs now again, and under home, we can delete the home tab. We don't need that. Let's just drag that here under hidden tabs, and let's drag this home here, and this has the source now home. Again, let's change the icon to home, and now we can change the layout. So under details, okay, we have the title, which consists of the title here and the image. So let me go back to the Glide application. I'm just going to reload the sheet, and as you can see, let's actually change the details to blank, and let's change the image to image. As you can see, we have a starting page here now under home. So welcome to the Meetup app. And we have our image here. And let's now actually add a new component by clicking here. And what I want to do, I want to add a list. So let's search for list. We want to add an inline list, and this list should be of source meetup. Okay. Let's actually have a tile structure, and now we can start basically modifying the way it looks. So what I want to do, actually, I want to change the scrolling from vertical to horizontal. So we have a horizontal scrolling. Let's change the title or the label to latest meetups. Okay. And this should just show the latest meetups. The title should be the name, obviously. The details should be the location, and the image should be the image, of course. And what you can do now, you can just drag images you have onto your app. So I'm going to drag cycling here, and for jogging, I'm going to add that as well. And I'm also going to add for bird watching just nature here. Okay. And we have our 3 latest meetups here already. Let's add another component. So what you can do also, you can modify design. So if you want to have a bigger tile shape, I'm going to leave it at 3 in 1, and you can change the corners and so on. But yeah, let's actually add another component. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to add a component. I'm going to add a separato, and beneath that, I'm going to add another list. And let's add an inline list again. And this should be called groups, and this should be of source group. The data should again be tiles, in my opinion, and we want to have again horizontal scrolling. This time I want to have a bit larger block, so let's change that to square actually, or that's a bit too big. Let's choose 4 to 3. Okay. Let's have the text inside like this. I think that's quite nice. Maybe at the bottom left and a bit bigger. Great. We can have 2 tiles per row if that's what you want. And again, we have our name of the group here. We don't have any details this time, but we can have an image. So again, let me just drag the image on top. So for sports, I'm just going to drag that on top here. For party, this one. And for nature, just this image. Okay. And I actually changed it right now. So let me change that back here. And we have our 3 groups here. So that's basically our home page. Looks quite nice already. Let's go over and start modifying our groups page. Let me just click on groups. That's going to be quite simple. We can change the layout to tiles. And I want to say, okay, title should be the name. Let's change the details. Image should be like this. And let's have a tile shape of, again, 4 to 3. And let's make that text again like this. And that's basically it. We can leave it as it is right now. I think that looks quite nice. And if the detail view for the group, we can edit that by just clicking on a group, and just let's change it. And again here, the title, let's remove the details here. The image should be the image. Let's remove the host information. We don't want that. But below the group, basically, we just want to have another inline list. And this should be a relation, so it should be contains meetups. So this should display the meetups for this group. In this case, the sports group has 2 meetups, cycling every Tuesday and jogging. And again, we can modify the way that looks. So let's change it to tiles again. I think that's nice. Let's actually have a smaller structure. So let me actually, yeah, like this maybe. Let's have 3 to 2. And we have the name again. Let's change it, have the location below and the image. And let's change the label as well. So this should say meetups. Okay. And yeah, we have our group here, which is called sports, and the list of meetups within this group. Okay. Let's go ahead to meetups now. And here I'm actually going to choose a map layout. So for the map layout, we want to have the address be set as the location. The title should be the name. Details can be description, sure. Image is image. And we don't need a caption in this case. So as you can see, we have a nice map view here of our 3 events here. So the one in Hamburg, which is bird watching, we have cycling and jogging, and we also have a list view as well. And let's actually change the way the detailed view looks. So let's click on a meetup and let's start modifying that. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to add a basic, actually a title. The title should consist of the name and just the image. Below that, I want to add a basic text, which should be the description. Okay. Let's add a map as well. And the map should be, of course, be the location. Okay. I want to have a relation as well. So let's search for relation. And the relation should be belongs to group. So we should want to see into which group this meetup belongs, and you can change the structure again of that. So we have the name, and let's remove the details, and we just have the image here, and you can, let's just drag that below the text, okay? And the last thing I want to actually do, I want to add a new component, and this should be a form button. So let's search for form button, and this button should say, attend this meetup. Okay, great. And before I'm gonna basically modify or edit this button, or what this should do, there's one more thing we have to do. We have to go to settings, and under privacy, we actually want to set the sign-in to public with email. This just means that all users that use your app or want to use your app will have to sign in and log in with their email address. And this is quite helpful because it will allow us to basically modify or keep track of which user is logged in and use the email address as a way of authenticating. So let me go back to layout and enter attend this meetup. Let's just click on the bottom. We can basically define what this form should fill out. So first of all, the destination should be attending. We want to create a new attending entry. The name should be just a text entry. We can leave that. The meetup, let's actually remove that. We want the meetup not to be entered by the user, but actually to be taken by the name of the meetup from the columns. So the meetup name should be assigned to the meetup, okay? The user email, again, we don't want that the user to enter there. We want to assign that from the current user's email. So let's search for here, user's email address should be assigned to the user's email. And this here, the text, we can say, okay, this should just be enter your message. Maybe the user wants to send a message. So basically, what that means now is that users can attend the meetup by clicking on the button, a form will open, and they can enter their name and a message and their email address, and the meetup will be saved for this meetup or for them attending the meetup. Okay, great. So last thing we have to modify is the profiles page, and under profile, I actually want to, I want to have a detailed view again. Let's actually add an inline list. So I'm going to search for inline list, and we're going to change the source to attending, and we want to say, okay, we only want to filter rows by signed in user where the user email is according to the user email. So what does that do? It will display a list here of all the events you as a user are attending, filtered by the email you signed up with. So let's just go quickly to a meetup here. So let's say cycling every Tuesday. Let's attend this meetup. My name is Noel, and my message is I am a passionate cyclist. Okay, let's submit that. Under profile now, we should have under meetups our first entry for the meetup we're attending. Okay, so that works really nicely. So let's actually go here to let's remove the basic text here. We don't need that, and the user email. But now we have an inline list, and let's call this meetups I attending. Okay, and what we have here now, we have basically a list of meetups you're attending, and the title is just your name, or let's change it to the meetup, and the details should just be maybe the text you added. So, and what we also want to do, we want to change the action to none. So what we have now, we just have a list here of all the meetups you're attending. So we're attending cycling every Tuesday, and let's actually also remove the image. We don't need that, and now we just have a easy way of keeping track of which meetups we're attending. Let's add another inline list. I'm just going to search for inline list. We want to have meetups I'm hosting, okay? And this should be a list as well, or let's have it as a tile maybe, and let's make that a lot smaller. So let's have 2 tiles per row like this, and this should just be of source meetups. That's correct. The details should be the location. The only difference here again is we want to sort again and want to filter the rows by signed in user, where the host is the user email want to filter for. So what does that mean? Under meetups I am attending, all the meetups that you're attending to, where an entry in the attending sheet was created, okay, are shown. In the meetups I'm hosting list, all the meetups you're hosting are shown. And the last thing I want to do, I want to create another list. So let's just search for list again, inline list. groups or my groups, okay? And this should be all the groups that you have created. So let's just create a tile structure again. And this should be of source group. And again, we want to have a feature. So we want to filter the rows by signed in user. And the user email should be the host again. And it's quite a nice way, basically, to keep track of all the information. What you can do, you can also add a separator if you want to do that. So let's add a separator. And we're going to just drag that here under attending, maybe like this. What I also want to do, I want to add a new form button. So let's search for form button again. And I want to place this button under the meetup, basically a list here. And this button should say create new meetup. Okay. And when this is clicked, let's click that. We want to create a new meetup. The name of the meetup can be set by the user himself, the location as well, the description as well. The image should be taken from an image picker, correct? The host should be the user email. So let's actually remove that. So let's again search for the user email. The user's email address should be assigned to the host. And the group should not be a random text entry. It should be a choice of group. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a new component, and this should be a choice, and should be a choice from the options sheet group, and the options name column should be name. So what does that mean? The user can now choose for which group he wants to create a meetup, and currently we have 3 groups only: sports, party, and nature. So basically, a user can only create a group or create a meetup for one of these 3 groups. So that works really nicely. We can create a new meetup using this form. And let's just do the same again. I'm going to create another form button. So let's just search for another form button. And this should be below the groups. And let's just call that create a new group. And this is going to be the same thing basically. So when this button is clicked, we want to create a new group this time. The name can be freely chosen. The image should be taken from an image picker. And again, the host should not be entered, but we want to fetch again the user's email address. So let's just search for that. The user's email address should be assigned to the host. And that's basically it. Just to test, let's actually create a new meetup. So let's say, okay, or let's actually create a new group or a new meetup. Let's create a new meetup, and it's going to be called Friday night bar hopping. Okay. Location is, let's say it's Dortmund, Germany. Description is we visit 4 bars every Friday. Let me just upload an image by clicking here. And let's also choose a group, of course. I'm going to choose the party group in this case. Let's wait until the image is uploaded. And once it's done uploading, I'm going to click on submit. As you can see, we have our 4th meetup here, the one that I'm hosting, which is Friday night bar hopping. And description is we visit 4 bars every night. It's in the group party, and that's the address. And we can also attend this meetup. Even though that's our own meetup, let's also just test that. So let's attend this meetup. My name is Frank. My message is I'm looking forward to this meetup. Let's submit. And now under our profile, meetups I'm attending, we have cycling every Tuesday and also Friday night bar hopping. And yeah, that's basically it. So one more thing I want to add under the detailed view for a meetup. I just want to add the list of all the people that are attending. Let's just add another inline list again. And this should be attending, source attending. And again, just let's have the name of the person, and we don't need all of the rest. So let's just remove that. Let's have the text maybe. That's the details. We want to have the text. Okay, great. So attending, and let's also remove the action. So we just have a list of all the people that are attending. Let's remove the title here. And now you can see, okay, if we change the label, users attending this meetup, we now have a list of all the people attending this meetup underneath the meetup. So in this case, Frank and his messages, I'm looking forward to this meetup. Last thing I just want to do, I want to remove for description, I want to remove the send email link here. We don't need that. And yeah, that's basically what you can also do. You can go to settings now. You can change the color of your app. I'm going to change it to red. You can change the icon. So let's maybe search for, I don't know, a map, something like this. And you can change the style as well, but I'm going to leave it as it is. And let's just go through it again. So we have our home page here, which consists of a nice text and image, the latest meetups which are posted. We have our list of groups here as a horizontal list as well. If we go to groups now, we just have a list of all the groups, also with a searching functionality. Okay, underneath each group, all the meetups for this group are displayed. Okay, in the meetups tab, we have a map view of all the meetups taking place, as well as a list view. We can take a look at a meetup, and let's click on one, and we can see again the detailed information, the description. We can see in which group it is. We can see the address as a map. We can attend this meetup by filling out the form, and we can also see what other users are attending this meetup. And at last, our profile tab, we have the list of meetups we are attending. We have the meetups we are hosting, as well as the ability to create a new meetup. And we also have the groups that we created, as well as the ability to create a new group. And yeah, that's basically it. You can go ahead and publish your app and start sharing with your users. And we have basically created a fully functioning Meetup clone without writing a single line of code, using Glide and just a single Google Sheet. And if we go to our Google Sheet now, just to take a look, so we have our meetups here. The images are hosted by Glide. We have the host email here. Our home sheet is going to stay the same basically, and our groups and our attending list. You can go ahead now, share your app, publish it, and let's actually open it in a browser. And what will happen now, if a user opens your app, he or she will be prompted to enter his email to get a PIN in order for us to keep track of which user has logged in by using the email address. And that's basically it. I hope you learned something in this tutorial, and I want to see you guys for the next tutorial with Nocode HQ. Bye.